You know, like when you've been like in your own world for a bit.
Yeah,
Like, because I was just driving for a minute. So,
yeah.
But I'm good.
Nah, I feel
I'm
you.
good.
What was you listening to?
I have a divine feminine energy playlist.
Yeah, Divine Feminine.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think that started anyway. So I'm just gonna ask you
Cool.
straight away. Like, I'm just gonna ask you straight away. Like, so you know on your Instagram, yeah, and I rate it a lot, by the way. I was gonna
Thank
say
you.
that at the beginning. I see on your Instagram you post a lot of like female empowerment like things on there, like quotes and just like footage and stuff like that. And you're just saying like you've got a Divine Feminine playlist.
Yeah.
Like, what's like? I don't know. Can you tell me a bit like? Can you tell me a little bit about that or?
Like, what's my intention behind it, or like?
No, not intention. I don't think it's by intention. I just like. I think I respect the empowerment. I just wanted to kind of know where the energy comes from.
Um, I don't like. That's an interesting question, actually. Like, I don't know if it like came from one specific thing, but I just know that like, especially as I've gotten older now and I've started to like build things for myself and stuff, and I like realize like how powerful women are, because I think I spent a lot of time, especially when I was younger, like trying to like play down my femininity in order to be competitive, in order to, you know, be taken seriously in the job market and stuff like that. And so like finding ways, like just little niggly ways to like bring my femininity into that, I think is really has been liberating for me.
Yeah.
So I like sharing that. And that's kind of why I started, well, it was one of the reasons anyway, why I started Money and Makeup, the YouTube channel, because, I wanted success and empowerment and femininity and girly stuff to not be seen as opposites or as something you have to trade in for something else, you know, like they're powerful. Like men are powerful too, but women are powerful, you know, like there's an energy. Like I realize that I'm very like attracted to when I see a woman being her full self, using her feminine charm, and all of that.
What does a woman being full self mean? Like, what does that mean to you?
I think it means tapping into all of the things that come naturally, or you know, are more embedded in the way that women are. You know, like the way that we interact with each other, the way that we talk to each other, the way that we listen and acknowledge each other, you know, like just, you know, how women speak to each other. I think that's really powerful. And I feel like this is one of my, would I say criticisms? I don't know if I'd say criticisms, but I guess one of my notes for feminism and the way that it's moving is that it seems like a lot of the time we're just replicating the masculine traits, you know, whereas like female energy is so powerful, like it's so liberating. So yeah, like I just love when there isn't that contradiction, you know, otherwise it feels like compartmentalization. And
do you know what I like a balance between feminine and masculine energy. It's really nice to have a balance, because I think there's times for everything. Just like sometimes, you know, just a bit like certain days I just feel like I'm going to the gym, I need a bit more like you know, it's kind of like the masculine energy, and then other times I just want to feel a bit more, so like just being, you know, being feminine and a little bit more of that, that's really good as
well. Exactly. And I think, you know, I think that we're all both, you know, there's not we're only one of this and we're only one of that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is when I was leaning into my feminine side, like I couldn't match that with like being competitive or being successful, you know, where now I can see, okay, they're not opposites, you know, like success is not masculine or feminine. There's a, you know, like, and that goes for anything. Kindness is not masculine or feminine, but maybe, you know, depending on which one you're leaning towards or where you are on the scale, you might demonstrate that in a different way.
How do you measure success? You spoke about success.
That's a good question.
I don't know for you, like, how do you measure it?
I
feel like every single person's got a different measurement of success, and I think different things mean different things to people. So
I think so. It's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day as well, and I personally define success as having balance, you know. So I used to define it as making as much money as possible, and, you know, like having rich friends and rich people around me, and you know, like all of that stuff. And to a certain extent, that's part of it. But now I see it more as balance. Like, I wouldn't consider myself successful if I was working 18, 16-hour days every day, and I couldn't see anyone or speak to anyone or have, like meaningful conversations with anyone. Whereas, like some days you might have to put in 16 hours, but, like there's some days where you also, like you're saying about the masculine, feminine, sometimes you just want to like feel something, or you just want to talk to somebody or experience something new. And I think for me, being successful is, having those avenues to create income, having people that can open doors for you and that you can open doors for, but also like having time to rest, to not feeling guilt about sleeping, liking the person that you see.
I see loads of people punish themselves. They go, oh my God, I slept too much. And, like I need to be doing stuff. Everyone wants to do stuff all the time. Yeah. It's just like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Where are you going to? So it's good to slow down a little bit. Yeah. And I think in a way, actually, I think what COVID's done, like this whole COVID situation, I don't want to talk about it too much anyways, because I think everyone talks about COVID. But I think what it's done is like it slowed things down for people. Like loads of people started businesses through COVID, and they started other things they wanted to do because they just had to slow down. Everyone's just like, hold on, I've got so much time, I'm at home, or they're working from home, whatever they're doing, and everyone just started doing loads of different things. Like I heard people became millionaires through...
Yeah, definitely,
And actually crypto thing was a big thing during lockdown, and it still is now. It's becoming a huge thing. How much do you know about cryptos and stuff like that?
To be honest, like I know, so basically what I've done is I've transferred my knowledge of trading into investing. So so the reason why I started it was because they banned trading crypto in the UK.
By the way, before you carry on, do you want to introduce yourself just so
listeners, hi guys, sorry, so
rude. There's no rules anyways. Like we can do that at any point. Like we can do that towards the end or whenever. But I think because obviously you're getting in that conversation now where it would be good for them to know what your background is. Yeah. And I think that would help them understand what you're saying as well. So if you want to.
Of course. So my name's Ashleigh, first of all. And we've known each other for a little while now. Always have a good conversation with you. And I'm always, happy to be part of anything that you're doing. But for me, so I currently my full-time job, I work in finance. So, financial services, specifically around like building strategies and improvements for the business to help them move forward. But I also have a couple of side hustles. So one thing I started was, I mentioned it before, money and makeup.
I love that by the way. I think that's such a cool concept. Once you created it, I loved it straight away.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Yeah, seriously, it's a cool concept.
I love to hear
By the way, I think I was one of the first people that liked one of your videos. So yeah.
I think you might have been.
Yeah. just to let people know.
He's a real one.
Yeah.
But like I said, I started that because I felt like a lot of the money conversations, so I was like trading in a trading group, and I felt like a lot of the conversations were either targeted at people that wanted to be boss babes, or they were targeted towards men. And there wasn't just the everyday person, especially the everyday woman, who can just like watch this while they do their makeup, or watch this while they're cooking something, and just break it down and like take all of the noise away from it. And so that's something that I really love doing. I haven't done it for a couple of weeks because I've been focusing a little bit more on like getting my makeup skills up. So been practicing some stuff, but we'll be back next week. So that's one thing. And then so like I said, I used to trade as well. I still kind of trade, but most of the stuff I was trading was crypto, and we can't do that anymore. So I moved over a bit more to investing, and because you just buy it, you just watch it grow.
So trading, like, let me help me understand as well. So trading is more about quick flips, where investing is just obviously that's it's just long-term gain really.
So I think the main difference between trading and investing is that with trading, what you're doing is you're looking at the market and you're just seeing how much it moves. Like, it doesn't matter if it's $1 million or if it's $1, you know, like, as long as it's moving, then you have the opportunity to make money, because you just want to buy at one point and sell at another point, you know, like, and you just make money off that difference. But with investing, what you're doing is you're actually buying into the value of the company. So you only can make money if it goes up. So that's one thing that I really miss. Like, whenever I see these crypto drops, like these massive crashes, I was like, if I was trading this, I would have made so much money selling on this.
I feel you. Like, I'm seeing drops on my accounts as well. I'm just like, oh, this is not looking good. But then I realized, actually, I'm like, the moment I was buying some crypto, I was just like, I'm buying this for the next 5 years, you know?
Exactly.
And all these drops and dips, they happen all the time.
Exactly, right?
Historically and stuff. And, you know, spoke about, you said you was taking a little break from, like, making content and stuff. Do you get exhausted from creating content?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's two things. Like, one, I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, you know, like, especially like when it comes to things like money. Like, as soon as you mention money, like, you get so many questions, because obviously everybody wants to know how to make money, right? Everybody wants to make a better life for themselves. So you get all these questions, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, I don't know. You know, I'm learning as well. I'm just sharing what I'm learning. And then I think that, like, kind of psyched me out a little bit, you know, like that kind of imposter syndrome, or just fear that I'll be found out about something, even though there's nothing to be found out about. But yeah, like, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect and to do it right, instead of just doing what I said I was going to do, you know, like sharing my tips and trying to make it as simple as possible and fun, you know? So now that I've, you know, gone through my dark space and, and worked that out, like, I think that would definitely help. But I don't necessarily get exhausted about the process, like the editing and the filming. I get exhausted about, like, thinking of new ideas.
Yeah, the content in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's the best way to present this? Like, one thing about YouTube is, like, it's very hard to see why somebody dislikes something. Like, you'll just get a dislike.
Oh yeah, because
you know,
you can just get one and then you don't know why,
like,
and there's haters. Like,
you know, so
that's interesting though. I think maybe YouTube should have a feature where someone dislikes it, and they can also comment why they disliked it, so the person at least knows, like, it's like, hey, can I make an improvement?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they don't do that because it could be hacked by trolls or something pretty easily. But I would find that really helpful to know, like, is it my voice? Is it the background?
But you know what? I think at the end of the day, I don't think we'll always, like, kind of, like, please everyone. I think there's always going to be someone, and it's almost like the issue isn't us sometimes, you know, like, the issue is the person's not getting it. Yeah. Like, the person, they really don't understand something, or and they dislike it, and it's almost like there's always that one person or a couple people is always going to, like, say, like, oh, this is not for me and whatever. But the fact they even take the time to go on YouTube and dislike something, I appreciate them for that as well. It's like, you've actually clicked on my video and you disliked it. Thank you. Like,
you know, I mean, like, all engagement on YouTube counts as good engagement. So but, you know, like, just, you know, from an improvement perspective, like, I feel like it's half valuable feedback, because it's like, okay, I know how you feel about this. Like, you disliked it enough to dislike it, bro.
But then don't you think it still has a positive outcome, because clearly you've made impact in someone's life?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
dislike seen as a bad thing, right?
I mean, it means that they didn't engage or react well to my content. And you know, like, I'm not gonna, like, jump off a bridge because somebody didn't like my video, but there are some videos that I can tell, like, people, like, more people have disliked them. So it would be good to know, you know, and on the reverse, it's not all negative. On the reverse, I can see there are ones that people really liked as well. So it's like,
sorry to interrupt here, but this is just me thinking philosophically. You just made me think about something really cool. So what if there's a person who's clicked on your video, they watched something, and they suddenly went, hold on, like, what's Ashleigh talking about? I don't agree with this, whatever, and that thing stays in the head, right? The person dislikes it. 6 months later down the line, something's clicked for that person, or something's developed in the brain where they go, actually, I remember that thing that Ashleigh was talking about 6 months ago that I disliked. Yeah. That made a lot of sense, and that added value to my life.
I mean, it happens in real life, right?
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah.
What about you? Do you get exhausted?
Do I get exhausted? I don't know. I'm in early stages right now. So, and I think the way we shoot a podcast episode is just like a once a week. And obviously I'm working with a friend of mine, Aladdin. So he does the other stuff, you know, like editing stuff and whatever. So I don't have to do too much.
Yeah.
So we kind of like, we do 50-50. So I don't think I get exhausted yet. But I think later down the line when things are going to start changing and stuff, I'm already preparing myself for it. So I think there might be exhaustion happening. I don't really get exhausted right now.
Okay.
I've got a question for you actually. Let me just pull it up. So this is a bit random, by the way. That's the whole point of this. Just to let you know, yeah. So what's a question you wish people asked you when they meet you for the first time?
You're really good at asking questions, you know, like.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly.
By the way, while I let you think about the answer, I just want to say that also, like you mentioned earlier, that we always have great conversations. And actually, that's why we're doing this right now. I feel like every single time I spoke to you, we always had an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
And we had a really good outcome.
Yeah, same. I appreciate you saying that. I always feel like I've learned something or seen things in a new way. Like, I really enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, so one thing that I wish people would ask me is... There's a couple of things. Like, if I'm thinking, like, what is it, you know, like, on a deep level, like, what is it that I feel like people overlook that I would like somebody to notice or something? Yeah. Like, I guess it would be, like, how convenient or inconvenient is this for you? You know? Because I feel like a lot of times, like, I've experienced this a lot in my life where... You know, like when you don't make a big fuss of things, like it just gets taken for granted. So I guess I would like people on that level to, you know, like maybe ask that a little bit more. But like in terms of, you know, like dreaming and, you know, like thinking big, I guess my question would be, I would like people to ask me things like, you know, what is your biggest, wildest dream? Or something like that, you know, like...
What is it? If you
my big... It? Yeah, honestly, my biggest, wildest dream is to purchase an island or a piece of land and start
I already love it.
And start my own country.
Wow. What would you call it?
I have no idea. Something fun like Candyland. Not Candyland, but
that name. I don't know by that name, but yeah.
I feel like it's copyrighted.
You know? No, but the island, that's really cool. What would it look like?
I think it would be somewhere, like ideally, I would say like somewhere like just off the coast of Asia.
Who would live there? Like that? I don't know. Just give me the deals because I'm excited.
Yeah, no, like really cool. I would start a political party, you know, like we would recruit the best and finest thinkers from around the world, you know, start our own nation, like take the best.
It's almost like an exclusive club. It's just like a kind of like VIP sort of thing.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But it wouldn't be based on, you know, wealth or anything. It would be based on, you know, like the ideas and contributions and what people really want to bring to that new world. And so that is my biggest, wildest dream, to be the leader of a country that's got the, you know, people who see what this is and see what the West in particular can achieve and be like, you know what, let's try something different. Yeah. So that's a big one. Another one is I really wanted to own a apartment complex and turn it into I might have told you this before, to own an apartment complex and turn it into a rehabilitation center you told me that, for homeless people.
I respect you for that a lot.
Thank you. So that's one I definitely don't want to let go, even if I don't become president of my own country. I
mean, I think you can do both, personally. Do you know what? I I actually don't think there's limits in life. It's just. I think there's just how far do you want to go and how much energy you want to put into something. You know.
Yeah, and how much do you believe yourself when you say it?
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I remember that conversation about you turning that complex into rehabilitation center, because I remember sharing with you that I said I wanted to kind of like do something similar, which was about having like a huge house where it's for young people to come and live there for like a year and then transform their lives and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar. I really like that.
I love that. What's your wildest dream?
My wildest dream? Do you know what? I think I've let go of all of that. I think ideally, like, my thing's always been about wanting to make a change in the whole world and stuff. And then I realized that, like, I think for me, making a change in one person's life is good enough. And, you know, if I can do that multiple times without counting how many times I do that, that's good enough for me. So I guess it changed from changing the world to changing one person's life. And that's just like a constant for me. I don't think I dream like too big, because I'm pretty content in life. And it's kind of like, I like to just fulfill my purpose and just go with the flow. I'm not too focused on loads of different things like making money and stuff. Obviously, if money comes with it, that's great, because I can do more things with it. Do you know what? In a weird way, money actually comes when you don't care about money. Yeah,
it's true.
It's really strange, and that's how universe seems to work.
What do you think about so there's this, I can't remember exactly how the expression goes, but it's something like, if you want something more than you want to breathe, then that's when you'll have it. Like,
sometimes I've heard that before.
Yeah, like sometimes I agree with you. Sometimes I feel like it's the opposite.
Is that Thomas Erickson?
I can't remember who says it. It's one of those quotes that appear on success pages a lot.
Yeah, you know what? Because there's a story behind it. So I think it's Thomas Erickson, and he's given a speech in like in American college and stuff. And then he's and I think it talks about a father takes son to the sea and then puts his head under the water, something like that. And then the son, you know, puts his head out, and then he's telling his son that, oh, if you want to breathe as much as you did there, that's how you achieve. So that's that sort of thing. Does it make sense? And I was just like, you're trying to suffocate your kid. Like, it's crazy.
Like, why do we have to struggle? Like, why was it always the narrative that we have to struggle and suffer and lose almost everything, and then we'll have something like, why? But
there is something about sacrifice, though.
No, there is, but I feel like there's a lot of focusing on all the negative. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, like, sometimes I feel like when we have these concepts about success or love or, you know, like anything, I feel like often we pick out all the negatives and then we use the negatives as an indicator that we're on the way to success.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you're losing the wrong people, you know, that aren't going to take you to where you're going. You know, sometimes, you know, breakdowns sometimes are necessary. Like, if you want to be success, you know, you might burn out and break down a couple of times before you get there. You just build yourself back up. Like, all of those things are part of it. Yeah. But just because you're having breakdowns and you're losing friends doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. But do you know what I think? I think it comes from, I think negative things are easier to measure than the positive ones, because I feel like sometimes the positive things are harder to see, because it's almost like you're enjoying a positive, right? So while you're enjoying it, it's much more, I feel like it's more difficult for me to appreciate it, because I'm in that flow of like, I'm enjoying the positive, right? And the moment the negative comes, it's just so much easier to see that, because it's just like, it just knocked me out the positive path. So it's much more easier to kind of measure the negative things and the impact it creates than the positive ones. And I think that's where it comes from. I think that's why people, they kind of pay too much attention. It's almost like if you're in peace for like a month and then suddenly something knocks you out of peace, just you're going to put a lot of like pressure onto what that thing was that knocked you out of that state. Trying to figure things out, and it might be a new thing, and it's just, we have to work it out and that sort of stuff. It's really interesting. Yeah, cool. I've got another question for you. If freedom is simply being able to do what you want, are animals freer than humans? Ashley's thinking, what kind of questions is he asking?
No, I was thinking the animals have a concept of want.
Because you've got a cat, plus you're allergic to it. I think you're weird, because you have an animal that you're allergic to, so just yeah.
I know. I just like to watch myself suffer.
Yeah,
clearly.
Yeah. Nice. But so if freedom is simply being able to do what you want, are animals freer than humans?
I think that the freedom comes from the conscious element of like understanding what it is that you want and actualizing it, you know. I don't think that animals know what they want. Okay. You know, they have instincts that drive them towards what they want, but they don't think, like my cat's not thinking, I could really do with like a treat right now. You know,
so that's the question. So then is freedom physical or is freedom mental?
I think freedom is an accumulation and the meeting of both of them. You know, like I think, have you ever read The Unabomber?
Do you know what I've watched? I've actually watched the series on Netflix.
I would really recommend reading the book. Like you have to like take it with a pinch of salt. Obviously, you know he's a domestic terrorist.
He was on stuff. Let me just say that he was out there living in the forest, doing crazy things. You know,
he was doing stuff, but you know.
But at the same time, do you know what? And I'm not glamorizing what he's done. Obviously, just to put things in context. But like at the same time, he was a genius. He just put his genius into something that wasn't a good thing. You know, it was negative. But at the same time, you know, he had an extraordinary way of thinking about stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's often the case with geniuses. You hear about evil geniuses and mad geniuses. You don't hear about happy geniuses, you know?
You don't. I'm sure there's some there, but yeah.
You know, but like he, one of the main points that he makes pretty early on in the book, and he builds a lot of arguments on top of it, but is that, well, first of all, he's like, in order for humans to be happy, they need to be able to have a couple of things. I can't remember everything that he says, but I remember specifically that he said for humans to have autonomy and to have a desire and also to have a means to achieve that desire. And most of the satisfaction comes from, you know, actually acting out that goal, you know, like putting that goal into practice or like, you know, climbing up the metaphorical hill to achieve it. You know, that's where a lot of satisfaction comes from. And he makes a point that technology is like taking out a lot of the work that we would do naturally.
So you know what? I'm gonna debate that right now, yeah. Because I remember I was watching one of Gary V's videos, and he made a really, really interesting point. He said actually a lot of people demonize like Instagram or like social media, but he was saying that a lot of other people who might not have done certain things in life, they're actually going out there to do it for social media, just to post it on Instagram or something like that. So they do it. So it's like, Instagram is pushing people to do something to get validation, and getting validation is not a bad thing sometimes, depending on how balanced the person is and where they get the validation from. But I was just like, actually, that's really interesting because I know a couple of people personally who done certain things so they can just do. It's almost like that concept of like, if someone went to the gym and they didn't post it on social media, did they really go to the gym? It's kind of like philosophical. If the tree fell, I can't remember how it goes. Do you know that quote?
If the tree falls.
If the tree falls in the forest and no one was there to hear it, would it actually become nice?
So it's kind of like a similar thing. If someone done something, they didn't post on Instagram, did they really do it? You know?
Yeah, I mean, but okay, let me go back to the point that I was making before, because I think it adds color to what you're saying, and then I can respond to what you're saying. So like he was saying that like our basic needs, like our need for hunger, our need for warmth, like all of those things, our need to work, you know, like they're all done pretty, you know, like efficiently by technology and by the things that we have. And so we focus a lot of times on our like not basic needs, so like things that make us happy, things like our hobbies, you know, like things like our explorations, our going to the gym, or climbing Mount Everest, or taking cool shots. And you know, like even me, like I wouldn't have done what the most recent makeup look I was doing if it wasn't for social media, because you know, like honestly, you want that validation. You want somebody to say that your work is good. You want to share something creative. You want to put something out into the world. So I agree with you in that sense that it's pushing people to do a lot more things. But would you say that that's making people happier, or would you even say that that's contributing to happiness at all?
So I think my answer is perspective. I think depending on how the person's digesting, I think depending on the person's mindset. And you know what? I'm really a fan of perspective, and I really think a lot of people misunderstand what that concept means. I think people just throw that around. It's just, it's a way of looking at stuff. But I think they don't really go into depth in terms of how powerful it can be, and that we actually have the power to change it. And at the moment we change it, we actually start seeing things from a different point of view. And we have a choice. Like, we can literally just like switch seats right now, and we'll have a different experience having this conversation. So we have the choice to do that, and it doesn't actually cost anything. That's why it annoys me so much when I meet people and they have a certain mindset, and I'm like, don't you want to change it? Because it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. You have to go make money to change it. You can change it before you make money. Actually, that's gonna help you make money if that's what you want to do. So I think my answer is perspective. I think depending on how people look at something will impact, how they live, really. So, like the whole, like, for example, like we're shooting this podcast right now, right? So someone told me yesterday that she said she was watching the podcast and she felt like she was in the room but just not speaking. She was just listening. She felt like she was part of the conversation. Okay. So if social media and all these different platforms didn't exist, she wouldn't have had that experience. But that's a positive experience for her. So yeah, I feel like the answer's perspective.
Yeah, like I guess I agree to some extent. Like, I agree that there's a lot of good creative, like, sometimes I see things on like TikTok and Instagram and I'm like, wow, like how did it even come to your mind to even think of that, let alone create it?
It's amazing.
And put it together in such an interesting way. And, there is a lot of good stuff. And I'm not saying that everything that comes out of it is bad. Like everything that humans do, there's going to be some good, there's going to be some bad. It was just, I guess I wanted to know if you've like explored that concept before. Because honestly, I think it like radicalizes you in a good way, in the sense that, like, again, it changes your perspective. It like makes you see things in a different way. And I think that's one of the most like I agree with you. I think that's one of the most amazing things about humans, that all this is just information that we're receiving, and that we have within the power within our own brains to then like change the links between those messages, and then that changes the way we look at ourselves, other people.
100%.
Like it's actually mad if you sit down and think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like, but I think what annoys me the most is that I have like two things. I guess it doesn't really annoy me, actually. That's a lie. It doesn't really annoy me, but it's just two things that I notice with people. I have number one, they haven't built that ability yet, or they haven't realized they have it yet. Or sometimes some people just choose not to, they just choose not to. So yeah, it doesn't really frustrate me, but then also it's kind of like, it's almost because I know it or someone else knows it doesn't mean other people know it too.
Yeah.
And that comes back to the whole thing of like, cool, we see things in a very unique way. And I think sometimes the best thing we can do is just share it, have those conversations, and then if the person is able to discover it and kind of pull out the conversation, then that's the most incredible thing, really. Yeah. So coming towards the end, have you got anything you want to promote, by the way?
Yeah, I want to promote Money and Makeup. Yeah,
so I don't know if you want to. It's up to you. They used to do some show, done like loads of like takes and stuff. So.
Oh my gosh! If you saw the reels, the outtakes, I've done. So I counted. I'm up to episode 35 now, and even now to this day, I still have to record my intro over and over and over again. Yeah, I think it's just part of it now. Is
it like a perfectionist thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I understand that.
But I'm not complaining about it. Like that's my ritual that I have to do to feel good. So hi guys.
By the way, also my favorite episode was, I think I got the title correct, Money or Love, or Love or Money. That was really interesting.
What did you like about it? Or what stood out to you?
Do you know what? I think for me what stood out is that it's really difficult to mix both, or like it's kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like people have to make a choice if they want to have more of something. Does that make sense? It's like, yeah, for me to have more love, I might have less focus on money, and vice versa. You know, it's really weird. It's really difficult to mix both.
It is. And then goes back to what we were saying before about balance, you know, because it's hard and there's no blueprint for any of this stuff. But, you know, like, you have to protect yourself as much as you can, you know, like, you have to be, I think part of maturing is being both your inner child and your inner parent, and, you know, like, looking out for exactly what's gonna make you better. And love just has that power to throw us completely off, and, you know, things we thought we'd never do, never even consider. You know, when you love someone and you want to give them all of you, it's like, oh, okay, wow, okay, so now we're living in a caravan driving to the middle of nowhere, you know. And so, like, again, like, and I hope none of the videos come across as preachy, but it's just, now that, especially if you're not in the situation where you're head over heels, like, before you even get into it, okay, now you have the idea, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm never going to do. I've made an agreement with myself. We're not, you know, I'm not taking out a loan for any partner. I'm not doing anything like that.
Yeah, but you know what? And I think it kind of comes back to also, like, the state of mind as well.
Yeah.
It's just like the state of mind of, like, love will make people do crazy things with the money as well. So, yeah. And that happens all the time. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, yeah, so cool. Anything to promote?
Yeah, so please go check out Money and Makeup on YouTube. I also have an Instagram account, which is moneyandmakeupofficial.com. I'm Miss Cams, so MISCAMMZ on Insta if you want to follow me and my random life. But yeah, every Monday, starting from next Monday, we'll be back to posting videos. So lots of different content. Sometimes I do reaction videos. Sometimes it's something about trading or investing, about how to navigate employment and, you know, like, how to get the best out of your job, negotiate salary, all of that kind of stuff. So money stuff. Like, I'm sure you'll find a video that you like. So check me out.
Cool. And to close it, I've got the last question. This is like a traditional question. We ask that every single guest. So if you had 8 billion people listen to you say one thing, what would it be?
Make me president. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Buy me an island.
No, I'm joking. I think it would be know yourself. Honestly, I feel like there's a quote even in the Bible. It's like, because of lack of vision, my people perish. You know, like, I feel like so much of what happens in the world, like, even like if you like analyze or like go into the biographies of leaders, both good and bad, you know, like, so much of everything that happens in the world is just because of people running from something or trying to amend something that happened to them before, you know, like, but when you take proper time to really examine who you are, like, you become almost impenetrable. Because, you know, like, there are no, like, all the weak spots. Oh, I don't know if the camera turned off. No, okay. Because all of the weak spots that you could possibly have are strengthened as much as they can be. Yeah. You know, and that's not a static thing. That's always growing and always changing. But when you know exactly who you are, there's very little that somebody can do to throw you off. And, you know, and your energy changes from needing to be seen, or not even needing to be seen, but needing something from people. Yeah. To just like, this is who I am in this situation. What can I give? You know, and what can I learn?
It's almost like if you have your own internal system, you don't have to receive from others. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if, like, I can't even imagine a world where everybody knew exactly what they needed, what they had to give, you know, how powerful and awesome they are. Like, we'd be like we'd be like having hovercraft shoes, like just all dancing in a circle. Like I have no idea, but I can't. Like that's a beautiful thing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is beautiful. But I just want to say thank you for being on here. I really appreciate you. And yeah, just keep pushing your content and yeah, keep sharing your things with people. Like I think they're amazing. So
honestly, it's honestly been a pleasure. And like I said, like anytime you need anything, just hit me up. Like I love talking to you. I love where we go randomly.
Just on a random journey. Yeah.
So thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.